Alright, so this is my happiness guitar tutorial by Elliott Smith. Um, One thing to take note of is that in the album version and also in the live version, he is in a whole step. He is tuned down a whole step and a half. So be mindful of that. Right now I am tuned a whole step and a half just because. So if you want it to sound right, just tune a whole step and a half. It doesn't really matter either way. It sounds, fine. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm gonna try and split this up into a couple parts because this is kind of a complicated song and I want to be as thorough as I can be so that everyone can understand this. And as usual, I'll post a link where I personally learned how to play this song, but with my own, couple additions and such, because the where I learned it is kind of complicated. So anyways, I'll play a little bit of it so you can get an idea of how it sounds, and yeah, so. Horrible, but whatever, you get the idea. Yeah, pretty much the song just repeats itself after that. So the song is structured in intro, but I like to think of the intro as being split apart into two parts: intro 1, intro 2, because they're kind of different. And then you have the verses, which are pretty much the same, and then the chorus, which is a little tricky because it has a lot of chord changes. And then the very end, which is pretty much just the intro again, but just repeated over and over and over, so it's not too bad. But anyways, I'm going to start with the intro, the first part, or how I like to think of the first part is. So anyways, first you want to make a G chord, because you want to make that kind of sound. One thing to note is that in the intro, and also at the very end of the song, you're going to be plucking the B, the high E, and the low E. So how it works is that you pluck the B first, and then you pluck the high E and the low E at the same time. So like this. And then after you pluck the two E's together, then you keep plucking the bass chord, because that's just how the song is. That's the bass. So, for instance, in the G chord, it would be like this: B string, two E's, and then you would change into your other chord and blah 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 blah. So yeah, what I like to do for the intro is, instead of doing a full G chord, I like to put my index finger on the second fret of the high E, because the next chord that you're making is sounds like this. Yeah. So it goes from G, and the second chord after the G is second fret is your middle finger still on the G, on the low E, the third fret of the low E, but your index finger is going to be on the second fret of the E, high E, and the your ring finger is on the third fret of the B string. So it's kind of a slow transition from this to this. So what I like to do is I like to keep my my index finger on the second fret of the high E string, so that you can change quickly. Because all you're doing is, if you do it my way, all you're doing is moving the your ring finger down one string, or up one string, sorry. So, makes it faster, easier. So, like this. I'm sorry. Move my ring finger. See? It's kind of an awkward position at first, but you'll get used to it, yeah, I guess, if you play it enough. The intro is pretty tricky. So anyways, remember you're doing the plucking pattern. So B string, 2 E's, and then you keep plucking the bass note, which is the low note of the chord. So yeah. A little reassuring thing is that in the intro, you're always going to be on the B and the E string. The only thing that changes is the bass note. So you get the bass note. So the bass note could either change from the E string or to the A string, depending on what you're playing. So just be mindful of that. The good thing is that the B, the E they're the same strings over and over. So that's nice. So anyways, weird G chord that I like to make. And then after that, this one's kind of hard. It took me a long time to get used to this chord. But anyways, what you're doing is, after that, you're going to be barring the whole 3rd fret. Do that, and somehow manage to reach in time your ring finger. Your ring finger on the 5th fret of the high E, and your pinky on the 6th fret of the B string to make this sound. So this one gave me the most trouble. Seriously, it's ridiculous, but whatever. So if you manage to do that, congrats. And then after that, your ring finger is gonna move down the string, and your pinky is gonna just don't play. Your pinky's not going to be anywhere. It's just going to be your ring finger and 3rd fret barred. So your ring finger is going to move down to the B string, still on the 5th fret. So, and then after that, your middle finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the B string, and your ring finger is going to be on the 5th fret of the high E string again. So after that chord, you just let go of everything and keep your index finger barred on the 3rd fret and just pluck it like that. Just like that. Just it's only the third finger, your finger barred on the 3rd fret that you're plucking. So let's do that again. Yep. After you do this, the next part's kind of tricky. I personally don't know how you're meant to do this, but the way I do it is kind of tricky. If you can figure out a better way, feel free to do it. I don't care, as long as it makes the noise, as long as it makes the sounds, the notes, it's fine. But anyways, after the 3rd fret barred, you're gonna have to bar the 2nd fret. Bar the 2nd fret. Put your pinky on the 5th fret of the high E string, and put your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string. So this one's kind of tricky too, coming from this. Because pretty much what you want is the B to be the 2nd fret. You want the B string to be the 2nd fret. And this is kind of awkward for me. I used to do this, but I messed up a lot, so I just bar the whole thing just because. But whatever suits you, it doesn't matter, really. So if you're able to do this, So 5th fret on the E string with your pinky, high E string, and barring the 2nd fret. Yeah, that's stuff. So after you do this, you're gonna slide your index finger again and barring the 1st fret of the yeah, just the 1st fret. Bar the 1st fret with the index finger. So and once you bar the 1st fret with your index finger, your pinky is gonna be on the 3rd fret of the high E string, and your ring finger is going to be on the 3rd fret on the low E string. So what you're going to be doing is because you want the B to be the 1st fret to make that noise, but if you can find a better way, go at it. Doesn't matter. I just do it this way just because this is kind of weird for me. But whatever. And after that, it transitions into what I like to think as intro part 2, and it's a little bit trickier in changing chords, but it's nothing like weird like all this stuff that I was doing earlier. It's actual chords like B minor, C, and G, so that's easier to think of, but it's harder to transition to those chords. But pretty much after you do the 1st fret, you do this. To transition, all you do is just, what I like to do is slide my fingers where they are, and make sure that the 2nd fret of the E string is played. So from this, so it goes from 3 to 3. So da 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 da, and then you go into intro part 2, which is. This one's tricky. This chord. Sorry for the cutoff there. I ran out of memory apparently, so that's convenient. But anyways, that's the end of my part 1 for the song Happiness, end of my tutorial. So eventually, sometime soon, I'll make part 2, which is the rest of the intro. Then I'll get into the verses. Take time, which these are all like their own separate parts, so that they're condensed. One video specified for this and this and this. So, if I made a mistake, any suggestions, feel free. So yeah, thanks for watching, I guess.